Hey, what's up everybody? A little bit different for today's video when it comes to the power rankings because as you can see, they're already all displayed and you may look at it and be like, well, Lawler, this is your list from last week. How is this any different? And honestly, it's not. My power rankings are actually staying the exact same from week to week. A little bit ahead of the curve on this one. And many of you may be thinking, well, okay, well, I've got the video. And if that's all you're here for and that's all you guys wanted to watch, you know, by all means, you got what you needed. My power rankings are staying the exact same this week, but we're going to take it a little bit different in approach this week in regards to the discussion that comes around it. So power rankings to me have kind of been this evolution and a process of trying to figure out how I want to weight things and what it is used for when it comes to not only just kind of showing where teams stand from week to week, but also trying to preemptively show you guys these are the teams that you need to look out for. Last week, I think, was a prime example of me looking at Sonics and dropping them down pretty heavily, but that also comes with the concept of this is where I think they are trending and where they may end up. If you guys didn't tune into it on Monday, ESPN Esports does a show called Behind the Wheel, and this week it was myself, Jazzo, and Chrome, and Jazzo and Chrome both did their power rankings as well, and Chrome and I ended up having the exact same list, except for my list I ended up making last week, and it is still, I think, persistent. Me and Chrome usually are on a pretty similar wavelength when it comes to predictions and stuff. That can be said about all the guys on the CJ show, but when it came to predictions, his and my list were the exact same. And ironically enough, I didn't really notice it until I went to do power rankings yesterday on stream and noticed they were actually the exact same. I made my list just off camera, was kind of like following along with the show and being like, yep, okay, I would go with that too. Here's my counterpoint. And if you guys don't watch Behind the Wheel for the ESPN Talk Show, it is every Monday at 2 p.m. Central. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Really good content, a lot of fun guests, a lot of interesting things that they're trying to do over there. And your guys' feedback is always greatly appreciated. But as I was following along the list to provide my feedback, I kept being like, all right, that's what I got. Okay, that's what I got. Okay, that's also, wait a second. And then I ended up doing my stream yesterday, and it's like, this is the exact same. Like, there is nothing changed. And I think that's kind of the route that I want to go with power rankings, because we have so much Rocket League going on, and we have so many things that you can, I guess, do predictions towards. I want power rankings to not only be, these are the results, let's discuss them, these are why I think teams are better or worse, but also this is an inclination of how I think teams are going to perform in the upcoming week, and kind of combining the concept of predictions or my expectations of the teams for the upcoming week, as well as how I think things are going to perform. And this obviously gets easier and easier as the schedules come out sooner and sooner. So you can kind of see a strength of schedule and base things upon that, and kind of think about upsets overall. If this team is playing this team, this is who I assume are going to win. I do feel ultimately that my list, the fact that I was able to do it a week ago, is a little bit of luck, but sometimes when you go with your gut feeling and say like, okay, Sonics, I'm going to drop you down a little bit, you do get the luck of the draw. I've been burned on this before. You know, I've made some pretty bold statements at the very beginning about KC Pioneers, and they continue to perform, and a lot of that bold statement was due to results with Flight, you know, Memory. Even though he's been consistent on defense and really big performance at Pioneers, I still have this unknown factor of beast mode. We didn't know it was going to be Seabass playing or if it was going to be beast mode, but, you know, I had the assumption of, okay, it is going to be beast mode just when he turns of age. So you just never know when these unknown factors come into a season, how they're going to perform. And we're treated as, you know, esports talent or people that are on camera, whether I'm doing Apex or Valorant or, you know, whatever event I'm doing. Bold statements are usually rewarded. It is good to have a strong opinion. It creates conversation. And even if you're wrong and you can admit to being wrong, ultimately it is good for entertainment. So that's kind of where I stand when it comes to some of these statements, where it's like, I'm supposed to make a very bold opinion on this because it gives something for people to talk about. So again, I'm okay with eating my words on that. KC Pioneers has continuously shown that they are a good team, and that's why I continue to put them in these rankings. So I think that's the exciting thing. I will say that in my power rankings, 7, 8, 9 could be switched up a little bit. I think you could have some alternative looks of it, depending on if you want to put Pioneers above or otherwise, but I'm pretty happy with my list right now, and I was happy to see that Chrome agreed with it. Also, arguments can be given to numbers 2, 3, and 4. Garrett and a few others were also in chat while I was talking about this on stream yesterday, discussing about how 2, 3, and 4, depending on the day, can be interchanged however you'd like. And I think that's what's really exciting is ultimately, when you look at the results over the past couple of weeks, when you start breaking down on an individual level or on a group level, Space Station, Envy, Energy, and G2 are almost always, without doubt, in the semifinals. You will almost always find them there, and it's very solidified. And I think that's exciting to see because now that we're almost 2/3 of the way into the season, obviously, North America is going to be having their second regional coming up this weekend, and we're entering week 6, so we have still 4 weeks left of the grid. Teams are kind of developing that foundation, and it led to this really interesting discussion that I had with Chrome and Jazzo about why is it that the NA teams, despite roster changes, are still staying at the top, the ones that we expect to stay at the top, while Europe is having people like Giants and BDS. Giants, a team that used to be RCD Espanyol, who shouldn't have even been able to make it into the RLCS if this format stayed the same. They had been stuck in rival series this entire season. And BDS, a team newly promoted with the addition of Extra. How are they able to go up and dethrone teams like Vitality or the Dignitoses or the Oxygens, who also made a one-person roster change, Vitality obviously staying the same, but how are they able to not recreate this? And it comes down to, I think a lot of us believe, the way that Europe approaches scrimmages and how they do things rather than the field. And it seems like a lot of emphasis is put on the field as compared to otherwise. And I think in a future video, or what I'm going to do my best to, is pull across a EU coach or an EU manager and discuss with them how they approach a week-to-week basis, what actually goes down in Europe, and try to provide that insight for you guys, so you guys can also know why some of these things may be happening. Because what better way to figure it out than go to the sources themselves? And I'll try to pick the brains of a couple pros and stuff and see what their thoughts are ultimately on it. But nice and short video today. Obviously, it's just more so like, it's hard to do a video when it's like my rankings are literally the exact same. This is the exact identical power ranking from last week. There's been no changes whatsoever, but it's kind of crazy. So you can take a look at the rankings on the bottom right. And I talked about this in my recap video on Monday, but ultimately you can see the rankings on the right below me. And I'm going to try to incorporate these every single week as well. Where you can see that the only things that are going to be changing lately is the fact that Space Station obviously won another grid, and then we're going to see Space Station try to repeat that occurrence. Chrome did say on the talk show that originally he's like, yeah, I want to find myself in the grand finals for regionals, but now that BDS has had a repeat occurrence of winning 2 in a row, he's like, that's all I hope for. I want us to show that we can also do it and prove that we're the dominant force we are. So again, a lot of these teams, especially in North America, showing that the grid is significant in their decision making. The fact that, you know, without regionals, that is a 2-week break from the major events. So you have to put a lot of weight into them. So it is exciting to see what certain coaches and teams and players put weight into certain events. But ultimately, you can see the lists for your essentially top 10 teams. Obviously, a lot of ties in the regional standings for North America. But again, my power ranking list is staying the exact same. And if you guys have made it this far and listened to me, you kind of ramble for a little bit, I do greatly appreciate it. But with that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you next time. Peace.